Aloha GBA fans, it is Brother Cahoots coming at you for the first time here on the channel. I am the newest analyst of the squad, and I am joined by the co-host for Week 1 recap, Randy HLD.
Hey GBA fans, by the way man, I'm the reigning champ, okay? I'm not just the regular co-host, I'm the reigning defending champion.
True.
So I'll have you know that and everyone else. But no, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm really excited to be covering Week 1 and it should be a good time.
Same. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the overall scores of the Week 1 of the GBA. This week was incredibly insane.
Heck yes.
I couldn't ask for a better start for Season 10. And if you guys are looking at the scores right now, you need to go watch the matches.
Yes.
If you
click off, go watch them.
If you're looking at the scores now, forget them, go watch the matches, and then come back here because, oh man, every single battle was amazing.
No, I like you said, man, all these games were very close. Like all the coaches, you know, they put on a show. It's like they knew that, hey, this is opening weekend. We have not had a GBA game in over 4 years, I think. And the coaches delivered, you know, and like I said, like you said, if you guys have not watched any of the games, make sure you go and watch them because it was definitely worth it. All 6 games were definitely worth watching. And yeah, I'm just overall thoughts about it is it was really, really close and exciting.
Couldn't said it better myself. So if you guys are back from watching all 6 matches, let's start with the Week 1 Battle 1. Andy, you want to take us off?
Let's go. Yeah, Week 1 opening, we're going to go in publishing order. To kick off GBA opening weekend, we had the Wolverhampton Weaviles, coached by Just Weavile, going to play Playmore Esports, coached by GeneralTarheel, and GeneralTarheel is the home team. And this battle was... to me, the theme of this battle, I got one word for it, and that's Frostmoth. Frostmoth decided that it was going to be, you know, grab the battle by the reins and go off. But in general, if you look at the build that they brought, I think Ben brought a really, really cool team. He got double weakness policy leading into the match, and I think that he was hoping that Roaring Moon and Heatran would be able to take advantage of some more passive play or passive, you know, weaker attacks to set up with, especially Roaring Moon being the Terra Dark. But Just Weavile brought a way more like offensive build. If you look at the 6 he brought, he had no real switch into like anything. Ultimately, I think that Darkspun, you know, it did its job very well, right? It was the Wish Roar spam to sort of keep setup from going off and being able to heal up his mons like Roaring Moon and Heatran. But I actually think that was ultimately what cost Ben, because Just Weavile was able to take advantage a bit of how passive the dog was and be able to switch around and kind of work around that. And then ultimately, as he chipped away with the Walking Wake and the Samurott, then I kind of opened the door with Frostmoth. And once he was able to Terra Water, it was just, he could break through it. With that, Just Weavile was able to pick up the 3-0 victory on the road. And moving into the next game, we had the New York Empoleon traveling to Edmonton to play the Coilers. GoldoaDragon going up against DDubble. So, Cahoots, you want to take this one?
Yes, sir. So this match was an absolute slogfest. Gudra kind of bit himself in the butt here, bringing out Zangoose with the Dragon Tail, giving him the Toxic Orb boost, and getting some free damage on Donphan and being able to KO it with Facade the following turn. The DDubble spinner was gone very early on in the game. The overall momentum really started to shift in that turn. Next up, DDubble really tried to set up his Thundy with the bulk up sub variant. It was definitely putting in some work, although they were able to KO the Garchomp, but not before succumbing to some rough skin shenanigans, along with their own sub damage, bringing him low enough for Cerulege to come in and revenge with Shadow Sneak. The absolute demolition that Cerulege put into this match, I can't even describe in words, and you need to watch it. So please go ahead and check that match out if you've not yet. The Iron Valiant just was not able to do enough damage, ending with a 2-0 victory for the New York Empoleons.
Yeah, and if there's one thing I gotta add, Goldoa, make sure you get your Greninja right, man. You can't be pulling up with an Aerial Ace Smokescreen Greninja, okay? You gotta get that stuff fixed, man. You gotta not make it harder on yourself, man. that created a lot of extra drama in the battle, but I still think he did a great job managing the Dundee and, you know, keeping having that bulky Chompless clutch to take on the Dundee, and then ultimately, yeah, Sarah Lich decided, you know what, I'm going for the MVP crown, and it put on a show.
I, for one, am very happy about this because I'm a part of the fantasy draft for this, and I picked Cerulege. So, hey,
wow.
Thank you so much, Goldoa.
Let's go ahead and jump into game number 3. We got San Diego Snugglers D.Rey going up against the Calgary Flamethrowers. And this is actually the first game featuring an assistant coach, I believe. I think cbmarcus was actually playing this game to the Galadites. So this is a GBA first assistant coach game to be played. And I gotta say, this game was quite the show. These guys were playing late at night. The tension was high. I think the Snugglers had when you look at preview, you got Palafin and Annihilate, and those two in prep are probably just a pain to prep for, and I'm sure Marcus and I have a fun time. On the flip side, Baxcalibur was, you know, really hard to deal with on paper. You look at what they brought. His only real resist to take it on was Klefki. Granted, Klefki was pretty good answer to it with Magna Rise and things like that to take it on. But early on, I think that D.Rey they were both kind of just feeling each other out. I think Salaza leading was smart, and having that Sash Endeavor lead's always nice. Like getting Rotom to get Endeavored was really huge early, given that Rotom was like one of the other few checks to Ursaluna. Like it's able to, at least on the ground side. Obviously, Facade still kind of just wrecked its day. But just getting it low, you know, D.Rey is talking about how important it is, and his reaction when he getting endeavored was pretty funny, I won't lie. But that was definitely big early on, and there's some good play by Marcus there. Obviously, the Heat Slow King Belly Drum Slow King was really heat. And that's like the one of the few times where Citrus was like really clutch because it was able to prevent it from healing with the Citrus Berry and in turn getting the Toxic Orb and, you know, getting hurt, so it couldn't really heal up and do anything else. So that was kind of big there. I'd also think that the interaction, the encounter with the Bulk Up 8 versus the Bulk Up Quackle was actually really well played on both ends. I think Marcus had to make sure that Annihilate was low enough to be revenged by Electrode, and I also think that D.Rey did a good job of not just sort of, you know, panicking and, you know, just kind of setting up with it, because, you know, 8 wins that, you know, matchup all the time, barring crits. So I think they played that really well. And then ultimately, there was a DC at the end too, which kind of just, you know, made things even more have more tension. And then the Klefki actually ended up being very huge in this game because it did have, like I said earlier, the Magnet Rise to prevent itself from being hit from the Baxcalibur and the Ursaluna. And ultimately, the keys were the key to this game, as it picked up 2 KOs and was the only Mon standing. And with that, the Snugglers are the second road team to win, or the third road team, I should say. Yeah, this is the third road team to win in a row. 1-0 victory, very close. Very good game on both sides. Very good game.
Super close. I think Klefki is definitely the MVP of that one, being able to clutch the game at the very end. Like I couldn't even tell you what was going to happen at that point in the game. Like, it was insane.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Klefki pulled through. That leads us to battle number 4. I know this one you're excited about, man. I'm not even gonna say nothing anymore. This is all you, bro. This is your game.
Thank you. Yes, sir. So this one, my friends, is of course the Atlanta Victinis versus the Chicago Dragapults. Both of them super good teams. Atlanta Victinis coached by JayVee. Chicago Dragapults coached by QtheCostaRican. Both of them super close friends of mine. We are known as Triple Tech. That's kind of like our personal thing. So really good buddies. And I'm really excited to talk about this match. First and foremost, I gotta get it out of the way. This was a very hacksy game. Like hey. I don't think that there was a more hacksy game in this week than in this one. But I gotta say, that added to the excitement for me. Early game advantage clearly went to Q, being able to get a body slam para on the Urshifu switch in, dealing some really big damage and basically causing Urshifu to be less effective throughout the entirety of the match. And this was like turn 2 or turn 3, very early on. The bold prediction from Q as well getting his Enam to stay in, predicting the U-turn from the Corviknight, living on the sliveriest of slivers, clicking EQ on a Corviknight, and the incoming Sandy Shocks taking a huge amount of damage. The Dragapults, Choice Specs Dragapult claiming 2 very quick kills, coming from the Torrentee, switching in onto a Shadow Ball, and of course a very, very cheeky crit on the AV Sandy Shocks, causing him to go down back to back. That was a bit of a turning point in the momentum, back onto the Chicago Dragapult side. At this point, things are looking very dicey for your boy and the Atlanta Victinis. So Urshifu was able to come in, being able to deal a Surging Strikes to Dragapult, sacrificing itself to put it in range for Scarf Gardevoir to come in and revenge with a Psychic to finally bring Dragapult's reign of terror to an end. This game could have gone either way at this point in time because of a very bad Sleep Talk turn for the Ursaring. If it rolled Body Slam, it was lights out for JayVee. But
GG.
Luckily enough, it rolled Rest, and Gardevoir was able to pick up another KO from the Ursaring. But this thing was insanely bulky. It is Gardevoir versus the world. The only thing that can save JayVee and being able to come back from this crazy situation is a crit. And let me tell you, he got it. So he's able to one-shot a full HP, very, very specially defensive Iron Hands from full, taking it and ending the match with a 1-0 victory for the Atlanta Victinis. And with that, we can move into the next match of the series, which is battle number 5 with the Borussia Donphans, coached by Scizor, versus the San Francisco Arcaniners, coached by SceptileMC. Andy, take it away.
Oh yeah, the GBA vets. This is the battle that a lot of GBA fans were thought probably would never happen again. But not only did we get it in the 10th anniversary season, but we got it opening week. This is rigged, by the way. I think Joel put it week 1 on purpose, or whoever was in charge of that. But yeah, you had 2 vets going at it. Obviously, George's returned to draft. Lars has been playing a lot since then. But this battle definitely lived up to the hype, in my opinion. The differential might not say that, but I think that it was definitely still a very, very great game on both ends. And it was kind of a bit of a slower, grindy in the beginning of the match, because I think both coaches wanted to not only feel what's going on, but just ensure that their win conditions were as healthy as they possibly could. I think George was probably going to rely on a Gyarados maybe breaking early, or Volcarona breaking with sweeping, and then have maybe Reggie pick things off, if assuming the Iron Shreds were to go away. But yeah, I think George, for not playing for a while, he was definitely making some plays early. He went for some doubles. I think Lars' building definitely was really, really great here. I think that Volcanion was a beast. It was, not only does it just check / wall Volcarona naturally, but the fact that he brought Haze and Wild Charge, that it kind of acted as a way to handle the Gyarados as well with the Wild Charge and Haze, and having that line to handle both was really, really nice. And I think his bringing that was really, really cool, especially when you're prepping for those 2. You always got to respect those setup sweepers, Dragon Dance sweepers, Quiver Dance sweepers, and fortunately it paid off really, really well. There's nothing more demoralizing than setting up and then just to get hazed. So I think that I think he had fun going with that. But George, not to be outdone, he did bring the Scarf Chi, which was really kind of hard to play around on paper if he makes the right reads. Unfortunately, it wasn't really able to get much after 2 KOs, but it still proved to be kind of the one thing holding back Iron Shreds from doing the work. Because at preview, Iron Shreds actually had a pretty good matchup once the Rotom was out of the way, and you find a way to get rid of the Gyarados, because Iron Shreds was always going to have a free Rapid Spin in front of Regular Key if it ever came in. So just having that was always nice for Lars. And ultimately, George did forget about the Rapid Spin. I don't want to say forget, but he just forgot to realize that Rapid Spin does get the speed boost going back to last gen, which I don't think it was game changing. I think he wouldn't have thrown away the fish otherwise. but it's just one of those things to where he, you know, not having played all of Generation 8, it's just something he didn't pick up on. But I do like the fact that, you know, George was still looking for ways to come back with Volcarona potentially, and he fought with it. You know, he definitely fought, and I think it's a positive note to see that he's still, you know, thinking about all his possible ways to win. But ultimately, I think Lars played really, really well. I don't want to downplay this win just because, you know, George has been away for a while. I think when you're a good player / like really good player, I think you can still bring some of that even if you haven't played in a while. So I still think that George was a good opponent for him, and it's just still a good win for Lars and the Donphan. So with that, he was able to pick up a very solid 2-0 victory on the road. And yeah, that's all there is to it. We have the final game of the week, the later game of the week, the primetime game if you want to go with that. We have the Copenhagen Sawsbucks, coached by Frosted and Vepsis, traveling to play the Bullet Plunge Club.
The very early momentum went into Uzi's favor, with the Hydreigon switching in on a Meowscarada U-turn. And because of that, GZAP was able to come in and claim the kill very early, taking down a very serious threat to the Bullet Punch Club. Hydreigon was unfortunately also the Copenhagen Sawsbucks Terramon, so they played the rest of the game without a Terra option. So already, very early on, very on the back foot. But overall, it was still a very fun game. I would say one of the biggest MVPs for this game was Zoroark, and Frosted was able to pretty effectively utilize Zoroark's disguise ability to, become Iron Bundle, catching a few things off guard considerably, especially the Uxie, taking a Shadow Ball to the face, expecting an Iron Bundle, but doing some very big damage. And that wasn't the only time Zoroark was able to come in and do Zoroark things. There was a very good prediction on Frosted's part for a Meowscarada switching in, and they were able to actually break through the para, hit the Ice Beam, and dealing some big damage to the Magical Cat. However, that did not prevent Meowscarada to be the endgame's cleaner, coming in with a big back-to-back-to-back 3-kill Flower Trick Train, giving the Bullet Punch Club the victory at a 4-0 win and ending the week 1 of the GBA.
Isn't it poetic that Meowscarada, the cat, got the hat trick, right? It's funny. They got the 3 kills, and it's just poetic. It's poetic.
Truly. And with that, let's close out the week 1 recap. This has been your boy, Rada Cahoots, and Randy HLD, giving you the latest and greatest, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.
Peace, guys.